John Harris. This is the 2010 52nd Annual Grammy Awards. I'm one of the two music mixers on the show, myself and Eric Schilling. We're in M3 West, a remote vehicle. There are two vehicles that are basically identical, M3 and M3 West. They are based on the East and West Coast and travel together and do shows together like this because of the need for remixing abilities, really. As we do the rehearsals for the Grammys, we have the camera time with the band. And so musically, when the cameras are done, we're done with the rehearsal, and we're rarely happy with it, to the point of we're ready to put it on the air after just a few passes. To that end, we gather the data from the console, the Digidesign D-Control there, transfer it to this one, an identical desk in M3 West. We're able to remix. So between Eric Schilling and I, we alternate duties as rehearsal. I'll do band A, I'll come over here and rehearse band A while Eric is doing band B, then we'll change roles, then we'll change vehicles. So the idea of remixing is really the only way to do a show like this. You have to give the artists that are on a show like this the attention that they need. They're all it's the biggest names in the business, and they all expect to have you mix their song as well as can be mixed. So in order to do that in the allotted time, this was the only way to do it.
It doesn't really matter where the original mix is, or is one always the original mix?
That's yes. The M3 will always be the original mix, and then we'll come here with that data and remix. Then the resultant mix is saved and put into the queue next door for the show.
So as a D-Control file?
Yes, that's right.
And so when you move from that truck to this truck, that data is all just pulled off of a server somewhere?
That's right. They've created. You need to talk to Joel Singer more about how it actually works. But yes, they load that file into this desk, and here we have monitors and controls abilities to control their recorders as well. So when I come over here, the desk pops up like that one did, and now they turn control over that machine that I just recorded on to this truck, and so now they were able to play it back from here. So the communication between the two is pretty amazing.
You've been doing this show for how many years?
17.
What are the new technological issues at this show for you?
I think that we're all trying to figure out how exactly to deliver as the new digital TV mandates came in. Now everything is broadcast in 5.1. And we find that we've got a lot of the music people that are receiving 5.1 and trying to watch it in stereo all have different home decoding units. Now everything's digital, but it's not all as standardized as I think we all thought it was. And so we, as Eric puts it, mix defensively sometimes. We do concentrate on the stereo, and we do listen to a couple of ways that people could downmix it at their homes. So we hear what is going to land in their house. And I think from a technological point of view, we've really gotten a workflow here now that works better than it ever has. It really is providing us with an efficiency and an ability to concentrate on the music and be creative. And so that's a very big plus. And if there is a minus, it's only that I think that home delivery is less dependable than you ever knew it was. We recorded the show at my dad's house and my house and somebody else's house, and they all sound different. And our challenge is sort of to work within that structure that's kind of hard to chase around.
You're the first stop when it comes to the mix during the show. When you're doing a rehearsal, where do you start? You get a new band, I don't know what band, pick a band you're working on today, and where do you start? Drums, vocals? Yep. I mean, how's that begin?
We usually run down, input lists anymore with rock bands or pop bands are pretty standardized. You do the drums and the bass and the guitars and the keys, and we have a separate snake here that handles all the RF. So you have 56 channels on stage A, 56 on stage B, and then you have 48 vocals that could be, you're going to use 3 or 4 for each act, but there's all different types of capsules and manufacturers and everything, and they're selected to use in this song. Then yeah, it's just like you've always done in concerts or whatever. You do a sound check. You can't. There's no template. You can't make even though I mean physically you could make templates and move them band to band, but it would never work. They're all individual. It's you start it over every time, and that's and you have to refine it the old-fashioned way and just keep doing it and just give it the attention it needs to get it done. And that's what I mean about this remixing thing. There's not enough hours in the day to do it without this kind of scenario and get it as well as we do. And our crew is incredible here that they put it up, rehearse it, and take it down and move it somewhere else and put it back up there, and they'll have the mics in the same place and all these things that have to happen. I'm the last thing in the stream. So many people and so many very talented people have to do a very difficult job before I get it, and then they help me through it. What do you need? I've got eyes and ears out there. I want to hear some more drums. I could get the bass player to play for me, and we'll do it almost like a combination of a studio session and a concert, because that's just what it is.
How much time do you get to rehearse with a group when you rehearse?
Whatever that was, about 20 minutes. You know, it depends on how. Most of it's never driven by us. It's driven by the sets, the lighting, the special effects, whether they're on a trapeze. You know, you don't know what they're going to do here. Like Pink, they're going to dunk her in a tank of water. Well, that's going to take forever. So, you know, we get as much time as they need for themselves, and they'll always ask us, you know, are you guys okay? And generally, we will just, it's kind of like a parlor trick to dial things in like that. It's a repetition. I've been doing it so long, I just can. I just wing it in there, and then and we record it all flat. It's just the mic amp straight onto the track, so all the processing is done in the desk. So if, compression and EQ and everything else, I don't need to have that nailed over there. That's what the whole remix thing. Now, let's really refine it.
So you capture a mix during rehearsal.
Yep.
And then the show is the remix itself. In other words.
Well, the show will reflect the remix. You're right. I'll come over here and I'll okay, now there's the blend, there's the balance for the song store. Now it goes into the queue of the show over there. So at dress, I'll hear the mix that I did over here. And then at the end of dress, we've decided, yes, that, you know, 1, 2, and 3 worked, 4 didn't work, and we'll bring 4 back over here. And we'll get it, do it again, and then we'll put it back in the queue. That queue is the show, and then off we go.
Is it easier to mix now than it was 17 years ago?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. You've got so much power in these desks that I have, you know, obviously they're emulations, but you have all these kind of classic sounds. You have Pultex, and you have all this stuff that you just have piles of it. You have as much as you want, and you can set them anywhere you want and make them as radical as you want, and then store that, and then boom, you come to a clean slate of the next band, and you can create a whole new thing, a new song, a new sound specific to that performance, and be able to recall it in a few seconds. That's amazing.